Does the state of the gaming industry feel upsetting to anyone else? Now, I want to be clear, I don't mean this in the games aren't as good as they used to be kind of way. What I'm talking about is the fact that for the last several years, console and game prices have been shooting up. On the other hand, it would be dishonest of me to claim that there are no inexpensive games that provide great value that are coming out. Just look at the roguelike genre. Hades 2, Slay the Spire 2, Mugenics, and more have all come out within the last few years, and they're fantastic while being $30 or less. But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you don't know, roguelikes are a genre of games that are defined mainly by procedurally generated levels and permadeath. Now, technically, a traditional roguelike involves turn-based combat and grid-based movement as well, along with a whole bunch of other criteria that I'll show on screen here, and these criteria come from the origin of the genre, a game called Rogue. Shocking, I know. The story of Rogue itself is one that I'll save for another time, but real quick, Rogue was released in the year 1980 by two UC Santa Cruz students, Michael Toy and Glenn Wickman. It was such a smash hit that it birthed the genre we know today, along with countless subgenres. Rogue's gameplay involves fighting through a grid-based, procedurally generated dungeon to find treasure, and then making your way out of the dungeon to win. A traditional roguelike, like I said, is defined by these criteria, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to be referring to all the games in this video as roguelikes, even though some would be considered roguelite or roguelike deck builders. Man, someone should really make a video breaking all that stuff down. Anyway, this video will go over some of my favorite roguelikes. Why? Well, aside from the borderline unhinged amount of time that I've spent playing and 100%ing them, like seriously, I have a problem, I want to share my passion and maybe put you onto a game or genre that you don't know much about. Let's start with a game that, arguably, is the most popular roguelike of all. Alright, so you probably know what The Binding of Isaac is, but I'm willing to bet that you don't know its full story. Starting off as a Flash game in 2011, Isaac is heavily inspired by the original Legend of Zelda and other dungeon crawlers like it. I mean, that's kinda obvious just by looking at it, right? You play as Isaac and an assortment of other biblically themed characters like Magdalene, Cain, and Judas, collecting items, fighting enemies, and then eventually killing your mom, her heart, Satan, and even yourself. It was a pretty bare bones game at the time compared to what we have from the genre today, but it was absolutely groundbreaking when it was released. I was in elementary school, playing this on Newgrounds, and I was completely blown away. Fun fact, the first time I ever pulled an all-nighter consisted of me playing only Isaac for like 12 hours straight, so it's safe to say I was hooked. When the sequel, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, came out in 2014, I was all over it. This was and still is an absolute masterclass in how to make a sequel that builds upon the original in every way and goes even further beyond. Important as the original is, and don't get me wrong, it's still an amazing game, going back to play it for this video really solidified to me that we absolutely needed Rebirth. I mean, it looks better, sounds better, and feels better to play. Everything was improved. And that by itself would have been enough to cement it as one of the greatest roguelikes ever, at least for me. But Ed McMillan, the lead creative behind Isaac and other classics like Super Meat Boy, was nowhere near done. We got the Afterbirth expansion in 2015, Afterbirth Plus in 2017, Repentance in 2021, and Repentance Plus in 2024. And by the way, he's still not done. Yeah, he's still planning on adding more content.
I can say with certainty that there will eventually be another Isaac game.
Jesus Christ!
So each of these expansions added new bosses, items, music, and levels, giving the potential for hundreds or thousands more hours of playtime each. The one that left the largest impact, though, was easily Repentance. We got everything I talked about before, bosses, items, levels, and music, but also an entire B-side of characters, all of them with brand new mechanics, exclusive to them, that entirely alter the way you can play the game. These are the tainted characters, and they require their own video to discuss them in detail because there is so much to go over with them. For now though, I'll just say that some are more fun than others. And this guy, by the way, if you know, you know. I really can't think of an indie game that has had as long a lifespan as this one. It is, in my opinion, a modern classic, and the masses do seem to agree with that because as of July 2026, the game hit an all-time peak in active players on Steam. Really think about that. A game that's more than 10 years old just hit its peak of players in 2026.
Jesus Christ!
It's absolutely earned, and it really warms my heart to see this game be so successful. Now I want to discuss a game that doesn't get nearly the same level of recognition, despite, in my opinion, being just as influential. Developed by Mossmouth, Spelunky is a simple and effective platforming roguelike. It started as a Windows game, getting a remake in 2012 with improved graphics, along with enhancements and additions outside of that. The game is relatively straightforward. You navigate various cave environments, collect treasure, fight enemies, dodge traps, and save damsels until you claim victory through one of two possible endings. By the way, does anyone else think that the manzel is kinda... There is very little guidance within the game itself. You are intended to improve pretty much entirely through trial and error. You'll die to an arrow trap, and then from that experience you learn how to avoid arrow traps and how they work. Fall on spikes, get insta-killed, avoid spikes in the future, and so on, and so on. Some may find this unforgiving, and yeah, you know, sometimes it really is, but this is the kind of gameplay that I personally can't get enough of. And I'm pretty patient. You've got to have a lot of patience for this one. I actually discovered Spelunky around the same time as I did the original Binding of Isaac, so you know, there went a lot of my free time as a young boy. I'd be running this shit back for hours at a time, completely neglecting other responsibilities in my life. Whether it be speed running, score running, or unsuccessfully eggplant running, I tried it all. Spelunky is different from Isaac in a few important ways, other than the fact that, you know, they're different video games. In Isaac, you unlock new items and characters with each win, and the game tends to get easier the more you play because of that. Spelunky is not like that. There is no meta progression at all. Think of it like an arcade machine. Nothing is saved between sessions except for high scores. You can't even save and quit during your run. Every run starts you off with 4 health, 4 bombs, and 4 ropes. The only difference is the character that you play as, and that doesn't change the gameplay at all, just your appearance. Spelunky got a sequel, Spelunky 2, in 2021, and much like Isaac, it was an upgrade in just about every way. There are more levels, mechanics, items, secrets, NPCs, and optional paths in Spelunky 2 than the original. The most important addition, though, was the Cosmic Ocean. This is the ultimate final challenge of the game, and man, it is hard. It consists of 99 levels that are, of course, randomly generated and based on one of the 8 locations in the main game. For some perspective on just how many levels that is, the entire game up to that point has 24 total levels, and that's including bosses, by the way. To escape each Cosmic Ocean level, you need to locate and destroy 3 orbs that spawn in random places. Once you destroy them, a jellyfish guarding the exit will wake up and chase you, moving through obstacles with a particular movement pattern that takes some time to get used to. Oh, and of course, the jellyfish insta-kills you. Sometimes the orbs are super easy to find, and other times you're gonna spend minutes wandering around the level looking for them. And you can't spend too much time looking, by the way, because if the level timer exceeds 3 minutes, a second jellyfish comes out of actual nowhere to chase you. Okay, I guess technically he comes out of the background, but you get the point. Oh, and don't worry, this one insta-kills you too. And it exists separately of the first jellyfish, which by the way, still gets activated once you get rid of the orbs. So you really do not want to be in these levels for long. That's all not even to mention the fact that random 1 in a million shit can happen and end your run instantly. Like an arrow trap getting triggered by an enemy or something, which like launches a UFO across the level into a Yeti who bounces perfectly off of 3 platforms to knock you into the abyss. You know, stuff like that. Now, you might hear that and say, why would I bother with this game if that can happen to me? It sounds kind of unfair. And the answer is that I have Stockholm Syndrome. And the answer is that, honestly, it just becomes funny after a while, and you learn to laugh along with it. You gotta have a sense of humor, or you will probably be driven insane by this game. So yeah, the Cosmic Ocean is such a tough challenge that despite my 850 hours of playtime, I haven't really come close. One day, though. One day.
Hey, I doubt it!
Spelunky is very underrated in my opinion. If you're a fan of platformers, roguelikes, or truly difficult games, you should try it out. But alright, let's get real. These series are both over 10 years old. That's like 50 million years in internet time. What about something more current, like something for TikTok Zoomers? What about something with big number that go up? Well, I'm glad you asked. It sounds like a joke, but Balatro really is the number go up game, at least to me. Your goal is to make a big number. Is that an oversimplification? You know, kind of, but not really. The relatively basic nature of the game and the fact that it was made available on mobile devices makes it one of the most accessible roguelikes in modern times. Using power-ups called jokers, you use real and made-up poker hands to generate points, called chips, that get you through the levels called blinds. There are 8 antes, which contain 3 blinds each, the last of which being a boss blind. That's really it. And yet, I've seen more Balatro memes and shitposts than I have for most other modern roguelikes. I guess besides Isaac, that one's really popular with the memers too. More than anything else, Balatro is a testament to the hard work of one person, Roguelikes. With the exception of the music and sound effects, this person did everything. By comparison, Isaac and Spelunky, while very impressive games in their own right, had entire dev teams behind them. I mean, seriously, would your first assumption be that one guy, or girl, I don't really know, created this? Their passion is undeniable. I mean, look at the way they talk about the game. Balatro is their baby. Now, unlike the other games discussed, there haven't been any updates, at least major ones, yet. Roguelikes actually said there will be one, eventually. And, you know, he said that it would be out already, and that's kind of come and gone. And I get that it's easy to get frustrated and impatient with this, but I think we should give them as much time as they need with it. I mean, hell, Spelunky 2 got delayed, and look at how great that game ended up being. Now, personally, I would rather an update get delayed than get rushed out to meet fan expectations. I have full faith in Roguelikes, and I think anyone who plays this game would understand that giving them as much time as they need is the best thing that we can possibly do. Don't get me wrong, there's many other remarkable roguelikes
Hey, that's the name of the show.
out there, but that's a story for another time. I chose these games to talk about because they're the ones I know the best. All of them are, without a doubt, in my top 10 favorite games of all time, and honestly, maybe even top 5. The amount of love and talent that's gone into each of them is clear for anyone to see. And remember, you can get these for a fraction of the cost of AAA games. If you don't like what's happening with gaming prices, just go play a roguelike. Wait for the next Steam sale and they'll be like 10 cents. That, combined with the fact that you can wring so many hours out of what is essentially playing the same thing over and over again, is the strength of roguelikes to me. Am I a masochist? Possibly. At the end of the day, I just really like this genre, if you couldn't tell by, me making this video. So I hope you got something out of this, whether it's just entertainment or maybe you want to try one of these games for yourself. I recommend all of them, if that wasn't explicitly clear. I know there's a lot more that I could discuss with these games, like the lore of Isaac, for example, but this video could have been multiple hours long if I didn't restrain myself. Plus, I want to leave some stuff to be discussed another time. I want to thank my friend Not Smoke for providing some of the background music for this. He actually created what you're listening to right now, as well as the intro track. His channel is going to be linked in the description. He makes songs and beats that would be right at home in any of the games that I talked about, so you should check him out if you're into that. And yeah, that's all I got. If you made it to the end, thank you. I'm not going to do any calls to action, like and subscribe. I will say that I have more videos planned, and I hope to upload regularly, so hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.